What's up? Welcome back. This is a Vegas Benchwarmer channel. This is a Benchwarmer podcast. My name is Eric. He hate me 702, and of course we got the man, the myth, the legend,
Jeremy.
There we go. Make sure y'all get on that, and it's with the G,
With
he is
B.
the G. So, how you been, buddy? It's been a little bit of time. We missed last week because of Valentine's Day. Did you see my little cute apple pastries I made with my wife?
I mean, it looked like they were wrapped in bacon that wasn't cooked.
It wasn't bacon, that was apples.
I don't know what it was, but I'm just telling you what it looked like.
Okay, let me show everybody. Yeah, that was apples, buddy. That was apple. I could see the bacon part. I get the bacon part now. Okay, I can see the bacon. I can see what you're saying now. At first, I didn't get it. I was like, what is he talking about? All right, let's see if we can get this loaded up real quick.
I don't know, but I've been so exhausted lately. Everything looks undercooked.
Yeah, buddy, you've been working a lot. I seen. I see you working on a whole bunch of work. It seems like they got you doing a lot of stuff. All right, let's load up. So yeah, those were actually really fucking good. That was just all right. So let me remove us real quick. Why the fuck? There it is. There it is.
See, don't it look like bacon?
Yeah, it do look like bacon. I can definitely see that. I definitely can see that. All right. So basically what that was thinly sliced apples covered in like a cinnamon brown sugar sauce. And then there was pastry strips, and we just put them on the edge and then put cream cheese on it and rolled them. They're pretty fucking good.
It didn't look like there's all that in there.
Yeah, it's just cream cheese, pastry dough, and apples. The undercooked bacon looks like apples. I would have never thought that until you said that, but that looks good. So yeah, we were gone last week because it was Valentine's Day. Had to be with your Valentine. Sam is actually doing suits right now. He said he's suit shopping.
Suit shopping for what?
His wedding.
I don't know. I never got an invite.
I haven't either, but he sent us a thing. He sent us the link for us to join, but I didn't get an invite either. So I already told my wife that we got to go down there in November. She's like, what? I'm like, yeah, we don't make plans in November. We got to go to Connecticut. She's like, oh shit.
Yeah. Sam don't like me. He never sent me an invite.
Yeah, so my invite hasn't came.
Sam doesn't like Jerry.
I haven't received it. He did say he was having problems, but you know, the mail is the mail nowadays.
Yeah, I know. I checked the organization I sit on the board for yesterday. Tell me why. We got in the P.O. box, how they give you the yellow slips of paper that says first notice, second notice, final notice. Tell me why we got one of those that says second notice. I turned around and I said, well, where the fuck was the first notice? So I go up there and I give it to him and I'm like, okay. So I asked the guy, I was like, can you tell me when they put the first notice in the box? And he goes, oh, I don't know. I'm like, yeah, because I don't fucking know either.
They might not have put it in the box.
So he brings it out. Guess when the postmark on the fucking envelope was?
When?
Oh, just guess.
This year.
No.
Oh my, so October. Shut the fuck up. August.
May 7th, 2025. Bitch, where the fuck did y'all have this mail at? The fuck?
Damn, that's
where the hell has it been?
That is almost a year. That is crazy, crazy work.
I'm just like, how the hell did y'all lose this? And it's a big one of those big ass Easy Post envelopes.
That it probably fell in the back of somebody's mail truck.
Like it was like a large flat rate envelope.
Yeah, it probably
How
slid.
the fuck do you lose a large flat rate envelope?
I'm playing devil's advocate.
Bubble mailer.
It might have just slid perfectly in somewhere and they couldn't see it.
It wasn't flat.
I don't know. It's the post office, man.
I was just like, I'm looking at the guy like, bro, y'all never put a first notice. Y'all only put a second notice to make it look like you put a first notice.
Yeah, no, 100%. That's 100% what happened. I hate when somebody was trying to cover their ass. I know because I've seen people do it before.
I know.
All
I work
right.
for the company and I see it every day.
First thing we gonna get into is the new possibility of NBA anti-tanking rules. So if you guys have not paid attention to the NBA has a problem right now. The problem is called tanking. Now, there's always been a problem. In all sports, there was tanking. Depending on who it is, you will have a couple teams tank towards the end. In football, I don't necessarily remember any team coming into the football season going, we're going to suck on purpose so we can have the number 1 overall pick. I don't remember that happening. I remember teams trying to play, but then as the season goes on, maybe week 4 or 5, 6, as the season goes on, they start to tank. NBA doesn't have that problem. The NBA has a problem where teams tank forever. I know that. I'm a Sixers fan. We had a thing called trust the process. We literally sucked for 4 years. And the idea was to accumulate as many picks as possible, and hopefully some of them turned into all-star players. They turned into Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. So you have teams that tank consistently, right? And sometimes it helps. The Pistons didn't tank for Cade Cunningham. They just sucked. But Cade Cunningham is an MVP candidate. So if you happen to get one of these great players in the draft, there's a lot of things that could change for you. I'm not talking like Cade Cunningham. Shea became through a trade. Victor Wembanyama. Jokic, it took a while. But you can get some Anthony Edwards with the Timberwolves. You can get some of these players, and they can change the landscape of your company. But as of right now, we have the Kings, the Pelicans, the Jazz, and the Mavericks. Those are 4 teams in the West that are tanking. Okay, the Mavericks have Kyrie Irving and Anthony Davis. Well, they had Anthony Davis. They traded him for a bag of chips. And Kyrie Irving is not playing the rest of the year. But they did have the number 1 overall pick with Cooper Flagg last year. That's the conspiracy with the trade. The Jazz were just fined $500,000 for sitting healthy players at the end of fourth quarter games, including a game they were leading. They have a couple picks, but they want to get as low as possible. The Pelicans, I think the Pelicans have the Bucks pick, but they also don't want to be very good. They're probably going to move on for Zion Williams. And the Kings are just an inept franchise. But the way that they've been playing this year, it seems like they're tanking. Then you have the Pacers, the Nets. Okay, so Jeremy, the Nets benched a guy this offseason, benched a guy that scored 20-something points last season. He scored 20-something points a game for them last season, and he didn't play. They barely played him this season. And then they released him after the trade deadline. And the Bucks picked him up. The Wizards, which the Wizards right now have every reason to tank, even though they just traded for Trae Young and Anthony Davis, their reason to take is I think their pick is protected. So the lower pick they can get, they can pair that next year with Trae and Anthony Davis, and they'd be good. The Bulls aren't really tanking, and the Bucks kind of aren't either, but at one point in time they were because Giannis is not healthy and they didn't think he was going to play again. So you have about 7 teams tanking in the NBA. I was gonna say David Stern. Adam Silver talked about the new anti-tanking rules that he was going to put into effect. Originally, he fined 2 teams. That was the Pacers and the Jazz. And then he's basically gone on and said, we're going to try everything we can to stop tanking. The draft started, I think, in 1985. Patrick Ewing year or whatever, and it's been changed like 7 times. It's ridiculous. The last time it was changed was in the Zion Williamson draft in 2019 when they evened out the odds for the top 4 teams, and all of them got a 14% chance. So that was the last time it was traded. And then it changed on the. So this year they might change it this offseason. He talked about it, but this is some knowledges of the concepts to curb anti-tanking. First round draft picks can only be protected top 4 or top 14 selections. So basically, if they're saying top 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 14 plus selections, so that means 5 through 13 is open. In that scenario, that if that stops teams because they don't have a great chance of getting the draft pick. Freezing lottery odds at the trade deadline or a later date. I don't know what the fuck that means. Only thing I can think of when he's saying freeze lottery odds is at the trade deadline, whatever lottery odds there are, those are what the lottery odds are going to be at the end of the season. What would you think about that, Jeremy?
Explain that again.
So he wants to, there's a possibility of freezing lottery odds. So the only way I think that could happen is he either at the trade deadline or later date. So let's say at the trade deadline, he goes, okay, the lottery odds are freezed. Whatever your lottery odds were, if you were the number one, if you had the best odds to get the number one pick at the lottery at the trade deadline, that's it. That's where it goes. You can't get any better. You can't get any worse, no matter what your record is.
I mean, but the lottery's rigged anyway.
Okay. That's true.
I mean, because wasn't it last year that the team who had the best odds to get the number one pick got didn't even come close to getting the number one pick?
That happens a lot.
So, the odds don't even matter. We should just get rid of the odds altogether.
Well, the reason why the odds were put into place for the lottery was to curb tanking. Because I think what they used to do before, if I'm not mistaken, if the team tied with the lowest record, it was a coin flip. And that happened with the 80? Yeah, Michael Jordan 1984 draft.
What?
So they put in the lottery odds so that way you kind of curb tanking. Because everybody had roughly the same odds.
But it doesn't matter when the odds don't factor into anything.
That's true. Because then it became rigged.
So, we just added a step in where a step didn't need to be added.
Okay. Here's another one. No longer allowing a team to pick in the top 4 consecutive years. And or after consecutive bottom 3 finishes. So if you suck bad enough that you get in the lottery, you get in the top 4 for 4 years in a row, then you don't have a chance of picking in the top 4 the next year. Now, the only issue I have with that, just off the bat, is there's a weird thing because if you trade your draft pick, there is times where they don't suck, but they have a sucky team's draft pick. Do you see what I'm saying? So like OKC has so many draft picks that they could theoretically pick in the top 4 in 4 straight years, but they don't suck. So if they did that, they would automatically have to put in another rule, in my opinion. What is your thoughts?
I don't know that I actually mind that.
Okay.
Because realistically, if you choose in the top 4 for 3 years consistently. I mean, what are you doing?
Okay.
Do you really have a basketball team? Or should you be forced to sell the team?
Okay. So I'll give you an example real quick. The closest thing I can see to this is the Cleveland Cavaliers. So when LeBron James left in 2010 to go to Miami, the Cleveland Cavaliers had three number one overall picks in 4 years. Granted, that turned into Kyrie Irving, Anthony Bennett, and Andrew Wiggins, which two of those were traded to get Kevin Love. So in that scenario, the Cleveland Cavaliers just went from being a contender and one player left, and they had to recover. I'm trying to see exactly how many teams have picked in the top four for 4 straight years. Okay, so the Houston Rockets from 21 to 24, they did it 3 times. They got Jalen Green, Jabari Smith. They did actually Ahmad Thompson. They did it 4 times. Ahmad Thompson and Reed Shepard. Jalen Green got traded for Kevin Durant. Ahmad Thompson is a beast, and Jabari Smith is pretty good. The San Antonio Spurs, 23, 24, and 25, have had multiple top 4 picks, but they weren't technically theirs. And the Houston Rockets actually weren't good those years. But do you think if they did that, that would take the spirit of the lottery away? Because the lottery is designed supposedly to give all bottom teams a fair chance of getting a higher pick and changing your future. And NBA is a little different than every other sport because one person can change your team.
I mean, if that's the case, then the lottery needs to be looked at and changed.
Okay.
Because the lottery is not doing what it should be doing.
Okay. You're 100% right. I agree with that.
Because it's not, it's the lottery is disingenuous.
Okay. Elaborate on your thoughts on that.
Personally, I think it's decided ahead of time who's going to get the number 1 pick.
Okay.
So the odds are bullshit. So when they're going into the lottery, they know who's going to get the number 1 pick. They know who's going to get number 2, number 3, number 4, and so forth. So the lottery is just for dog and pony show. It's just to make it look good, to make it look like, oh, see, we're being fair. We're giving everybody a fair shot. Okay. So it's to appease Vegas. So Vegas can say, oh, look, we took bets, but behind the closed doors back here, we knew what it was going to be before they even did it.
Yeah. And there's been many of instances of people coming out and kind of spoiling that thing. Like if you were going to fix anything in the NBA, it would be a lottery that's held behind closed doors.
The easiest thing to fix is the NBA lottery.
Yep. 100% right. All right, here's another one. Teams cannot pick in the top 4 after making the conference finals. So to give you an example, the Oklahoma City Thunder own the LA Clippers draft pick. At one point in the season, the OKC won the finals last year. In the beginning of the season, there was a huge possibility that the Clippers would have been one of the worst 4 teams in the league. And then the champion would have gotten a top 4 pick. It doesn't happen often, but it has happened. Magic Johnson or James Worthy with the Lakers. So there's been a couple times that a team that has finished in the top last 4 teams got a top pick the next year.
So all that is telling me is that they know there's collusion going on. They just don't want to call it out. Because otherwise, what point would there be to make that rule?
Well, because a lot of it.
Well, because now you're trying to hinder trades and what teams can do in order to make things happen, or you're trying to hinder other teams taking on big contracts and getting rid of salty players, so to speak.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So if I have to take on a shit fucking contract from your team, I want a pick. And if that pick ends up being in the top 4 and I make the conference finals, or your team I make the conference finals and your team ends up being one of the top 4 picks and I'm not allowed to get the top 4 pick, why am I being punished?
Yep.
I ended up having to take on a shit fucking contract from you. And you ended up sucking. And your pick became a top 4 pick, and now I can't take that pick.
Mm-hmm.
What?
And it's weird because it's only happened. Like the only time I can think of it is the 1986 Boston Celtics won the NBA championship and managed to hold the number 2 pick in the same year. They tried to say the Dallas Mavericks because they went to the 2024 NBA Finals and then got the 2025 first round draft pick, but that was because that's the next season and they traded a historically great player. So it's never really happened.
The only other thing I could think of is they caught somebody colluding with another team, and instead of holding that person and that team accountable, they're going to do a group punishment instead of holding that one team accountable.
Okay.
Because Adam Silver is a little bitch, and that team probably pays the majority of his salary.
Well, all of them do, yeah, because he gets paid by the owners.
Right, but that one team has a lot more pull than the others. So that one team was probably caught colluding, and he said, "Oh, well, I'll take care of it, and you won't get called out. So we'll just implement this rule, so everybody has to be held to the standard, and you won't get called to the carpet."
Got you. See, my problem with this rule would be you have to change the way they can trade picks. So to give you an example, there are many of times that picks are traded in trades. So you could trade a 2030 pick right now. So like the Warriors were offering tons of picks to the Bucks for Giannis, right? So they could have gotten a 2030, a 2031 draft pick, right? Now it's 2026. Now, how if I trade for that pick, like you said, even though, and I'm gonna get contracts because of the fact that I'm giving them Giannis, but they're giving me Jimmy Butler, who's injured and has a $50 million contract. So and then 4 years later, I rebound and build my fucking team up and happen to make the finals. Why am I getting punished for a deal I did 5 years earlier that nobody knew would happen? That just doesn't make sense. I 100% agree with you on that. Lottery odds allocated based off of 2-year records. I don't think that fixes it. I think what happens is you have more trust the process. So basically they're saying your 2-year record, like a rolling report. You'd have a rolling report for 2 years of your record. And that average record gives you your lottery odds. So if one year you make the finals, so like the Mavericks made the finals, and then they fucking sucked the next year because they traded Luka and they got injured. But they still made the play-in tournament. But when they made the play-in tournament, they got knocked out. So that's how they ended up getting, or they were close to the play-in tournament, I think. But that's how they ended up getting. So in that scenario, they would have never been available for the number one draft pick. That also takes away Tim Duncan with the Spurs. So when Tim Duncan got drafted with the Spurs, David Robinson had an injury. And he was out the whole season, and they ended up with the number one overall pick. So there's a lot of times that I don't think that's fair due to the fact that if I have an injury and my guy is out, Steph Curry gets injured and he's out the whole fucking season and our team can't survive. Why the fuck are we getting punished because somebody got injured? That to me is just bad. I get, well, we're going to have big team. No, we're trying to make it fair, not trying to make it unfair. Or you're just going to have more trust the process.
It almost sounds like they're trying to write these rules with AI.
ChatGPT came up with them.
It almost like, I swear, it sounds like they're trying to write these rules with AI, and they're not asking it to be fair, or somebody brand new to AI. And AI doesn't know who it is, and they haven't used it long enough.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's what it sounds like. Because none of it makes any sense.
Next one is lottery extended to include all playing teams. This one makes no sense to me after the last two lotteries. So I understand the play-in game. So if you're in the play-in tournament and you lose, you're still included because there's 16 teams that make the NBA playoffs, and the lottery is the top 14. Yeah, what's wrong? She needs to go outside. I think she's growing up. Okay. Hold on, I'll be right back. My bad. We got to take Kansas to the vet. She was going down the stairs yesterday, and her legs gave out, but she has the arthritis. So we just kind of kept an eye on her. She hasn't really walked much, so we're scheduling a vet appointment. But sometimes when her legs go out, it just goes out. She'll limp for like half a day, and the vets basically said she's too old to give surgery to. They can only give her very little medication because of her kidney problems. So they can't even put her under for surgery because of her kidney issues.
She's like 700 years old.
Yeah, she's on her way out. I've already prepared. Okay, so lottery odds extended to all play-in teams. So basically, the top 16 make it. The losers of the play-in team, so the play-in game goes 10-9, 7-8. Winner of 7-8 goes in the playoffs. Winner of 10-9 goes and plays the loser of 7-8. So you have two teams that don't make the playoffs within the play-in. They're basically saying extend it to all play-in teams. So even
from the lottery being 4 teams to being 20 teams.
So it'd be exactly, from being 14 teams to there'd be an extra 18. There'd be an extra 2 on each side. It'd be 18 teams. So that would be the lottery odds. Now, my issue with that one is.
So then why don't you just make the lottery the whole fucking league?
So my issue with that one is, how are we going to say that if you make the conference finals? So, for instance, the Miami Heat were an 8 seed that made the finals against the Denver Nuggets. In this scenario, they would have been included into the play-in game. They would have been included in these things, and they made the final. So you're going to not reward them for playing good in the playoffs?
A human being didn't write these. Their friend Chatty wrote these.
And then the last one is flatten all odds for lottery teams. Flatten the odds for all lottery teams.
This is Chat GPT.
I'm gonna be honest. I think the
I'm
easiest.
it now. It's either Chat GPT, Grok, or Perplexity.
I can see it. It might be a combination of all three.
It's not a human being. It's not an actual person sitting in a computer typing this shit out.
No, there's no way. Because you don't even watch basketball.
This is the dumbest shit in the world.
But it's management. It's very fucking simple. It's not hard. But the easiest thing to do is get rid of the lottery.
This sounds like my boss.
Yeah. It's well, so maybe it's not ChatGPT. Maybe it's just somebody like
it's ChatGPT.
So you could get rid of the lottery, but if you get rid of the lottery, you can no longer fix it. And it's very simple. Like, I don't understand why this is there's 82 games, right? Way too fucking long. But you get rid of the lottery and teams just suck. So if you're 12 and 30 at All-Star break, and you may have a couple teams trying to tank, may have 1 or 2. We see this in all other sports.
Well, you could get rid of the lottery and then hold teams accountable for tanking.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, you start handing out a couple $1 million fines, people will start.
I know, no, it won't. That's not gonna stop it.
I mean, or you could hire me. I can come in and improve your processes. I'm just saying.
Let's get it. But the reason why that will not stop it, why a lot of people are saying do their monetary value, it's not going to stop it due to the fact that they make so much money off of a top 3 pick.
But if you find them based on their network.
Oh, well, then you're going to have unfair fines. Because like Steve Ballmer will get fined the most money ever.
Life's not fair.
Yeah. So I don't ever think there's going to be a fix to tanking due to the fact that
it sucks to suck.
Well, it's also because there are certain players that change a franchise. Not every player does. Not every player will change a franchise. But there are a lot of teams that, like the Detroit Pistons, Cade Cunningham, Joel Embiid at that point in time where we had him, Dwayne Wade for Miami Heat, Shaquille O'Neal, Dwight Howard for Orlando Magic. Like Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, James Harden for OKC, Tim Duncan in, yeah, Wemby, Jokic, Kobe, Anthony Edwards. Like, there's so many teams, Steph Curry. There's so many teams that drafted a generation of talent that changed their franchise. You don't have that in any other sport the way you have that in NBA. You can have an Aaron Judge that you draft, but there's so many other players that affect that. Same thing with football. You could draft the best quarterback prospect ever, Trevor Lawrence. And look how long it took him to win. But if you draft a LeBron James or a D Wade, like D Wade and LeBron James were in the NBA finals on different teams 3 and 4 years after they were drafted. Like, you just don't, that's why I don't think tanking is ever going to get fixed. I think realistically, get rid of the damn lottery and institute maybe a 2-year top 4 pick. But then the problem with that 2-year top 4 pick is if you put it at the end of the lottery, then everybody moves up one. So what happens if a team picked top 4 2 years ago and they became the 5th team and now they move down? Now you got to move another team up. So I don't know. I don't think there's any way to fix it.
I think
except for hiring Jeremy.
I have a way to fix it.
Okay.
You really want to hear it?
Yeah.
So the first year, the worst team gets the number 1 pick. The next year, if it's the same worst team, they get the number 2 pick, and the second worst team gets the number 1 pick.
Okay.
And then, so each year, I don't know how many teams there are. Let's just say there's 30 teams.
Okay.
So for 30 years, there's a different number 1 pick.
Got you. Okay.
And then we start the process over again.
So you're saying
so basically you move down the line. So everybody gets the number 1 pick. So basically, if I pick number 1 this year, next year I'm number 2. The next year I'm number 3. Next year I'm number 4.
But so it doesn't matter your record.
So your record would play a role in it, but you can't be the number 1 pick 2 years in a row.
Got you. So that's the only thing.
If I pick number 1 this year, I can't pick number 1 again.
Got you. So even if you land number 1, you immediately go to number 2.
Yeah.
And the number 1 pick. But you could get the number 1 pick in year 3?
No.
So how long again before you can get the number 1 pick?
You gotta wait, buddy.
How long is wait though?
You gotta wait.
Like 5 years, 10 years?
Like, all the logistics got to play out. Like, I don't have all the logistics right now.
Honestly, I love this idea. I think if you started it, you should do once every 5 years. The reason for that is that's based off of the rookie contract. So in a scenario, the rookie contract, it may take a rookie 3 to 4 years to get good, but a rookie contract is it's up after 4 years. So then they have to.
I think a rotating number 1 pick is probably the way you fix it, because you could have the worst record this season, and then you got the number 1 pick.
Yeah.
So now you got teams that have to learn how to develop players.
Yeah, that's why I think 5 years would be perfect.
Now you better get your coach right, and then your coach better get his assistants right, so that way you can develop your players, and you better get your G League coaches right, so that way they can develop their players. Because you've only got one number 1 pick for between 5 to 10 years. So if you can't develop players, you better get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, no, I love that. I absolutely, that's what I said, like 5 years. 10, I think, would be a little too long, because then you might, but if you did 5 years, the restricted free agent, you should not be a horrible team in 5 years with the number 1 overall pick unless they just get injured. So, and in that scenario, you're still not getting a number 1 all pick until that contract is over. So you better figure out what the fuck to do.
So this just makes a team have to, not only do you have to nail the number 1 pick, but you have to nail your coaching staff. You have to nail your strength and conditioning staff. You have to make sure that the entirety of your program is where it needs to be. It's just me.
No, I agree with that. I mean, I may even put it in. They can only have a top 4 pick once every 5 years. And you have to nail your draft. You should not be rewarded for not nailing draft. And you also have to develop them. And that's a problem that we have. How many teams ruin good players? I love that. That's a great idea. All right, enough with the basketball. Let's get into some fucking fighting, okay? Tonight, only on the Zone and Stream East. It is going to be Ryan Garcia versus Mario Barrios for the WBC 147-pound welterweight world championship. Also, the vacant Ring Magazine World Championship, which is the only belt that actually matters to the fighters, is the Ring Magazine belt. It's free. Really? Yeah, Terrence Crawford has said it. Shakur Stevenson has said it, because they don't make them pay a wage for it.
Well,
so they don't have to pay sanction fees. So the problem with the sanction fees is, depending on what you make, it's a percentage of that fee. So like Shakur Stevenson got stripped too by the WBO or somebody like that, because he's not paying a sanction fee. He's like, I just paid y'all $100,000 late last year. Why am I doing it again? And that becomes the issue. So, and all 90% of the fighters, since the Ring Magazine has been reestablished by the Saudis, they own the Ring Magazine, Turkey Al-Ashi. That has become more prominent again. The Ring's pound for pound rankings were always the number 1. Even when the magazine wasn't doing good, they still had that, because it has so much boxing history and you don't pay for it. There's no objection to it. Now, I'm not saying the rankings are objectified, but watching the podcast with Max Kellerman and them, it's not as non-objectified as it used to be. Okay, they are very on board and glaze a lot of their people that they talk about. Like, they make Ryan Garcia sound like a world beater because he's on their show on a regular basis. After Shakur Stevenson beat Teofimo Lopez, it was not Teofimo Lopez's dad being a horrible fucking trainer and giving him no advice and not being able to adapt. It was Shakur Stevenson is unbeatable. And he is always on their podcast. So, the vacant Ring Magazine. Now, controversy for people that have not caught up with this. Ryan Garcia has not won a fight in 3 fights. So he lost to Tank. I think he beat Oscar Duarte after Tank. Fought Devin Haney. No contest, even though he beat the shit out of Devin Haney. Was suspended for a year. Came back and lost to Rolly. And now got a WBC fight at welterweight versus Mario Barrios. Now, they only gave him 4 weeks to promote the fight. So if you guys haven't heard about that, that's because literally I found out this fight was going on like 3 weeks ago. And was like, wait, what? To give you an idea, I know Floyd and Tyson are fighting in 4 months. Okay, they gave him no press for this fight. But Mario Barrios, if you guys don't remember, fought. Who did he fight last?
I don't remember.
Yo, man. Manny Pacman. He was the guy that had it fought to a draw with Manny Pacman.
Fuck, that was forever ago.
That was last year.
Was it last year?
Yeah, that was last year. Manny Pacquiao's about to fight again. He came out of retirement. That was in July of 2025. July 19th. So his last 2 fights, he has had a draw. He has not had a win since 2024. He had a draw versus Abel Ramos, and he had a draw versus Manny Pacquiao. And now he is fighting Ryan Garcia. Mario Barrios is 29-2 with 18 KOs and 2 draws. Ryan Garcia is 24-2. His 2 losses come to Tank Davis and Rolly Romero with 1 KO. Now that you know who the fighter is, because I know we talked about the Mario Barrios and Ryan Garcia and Manny Pacquiao fight, what do you think of this fight?
I think Mario wins because I don't know if you saw the weigh-in.
I did.
But Garcia looks small.
Garcia's half a pound.
I don't give a fuck if he's the same.
Yeah.
He looks small. He looks ripped. He looks in shape. He looks better than he did all of his last fights that we've seen him lose.
So I think the reason why Garcia looks small is because he's the same. He's actually shorter than Mario Barrios. So normally when you see Ryan Garcia is the bigger fighter. He's taller than Devin Haney. He's taller than Gervonta Tank Davis. He's a good 3 to 4 inches shorter than Mario Barrios. Mario Barrios is 6 foot. Ryan Garcia is 5'8.5". So yeah, I agree with you. Him looking a lot small, and he doesn't look as Mario looks more stout than Garcia. Garcia just looks really ripped.
And I don't think Garcia could hold Pacquiao's jockstrap. So
you don't think this Garcia now would have a draw with Pacquiao now?
No.
I don't know about that, buddy. I would love to see that fight. I agree. I think Pacquiao would beat him based off of experience. I do not think Ryan Garcia he has tons of amateur experience, but I don't think he is I don't think he applies his knowledge well in the ring. I think he still does the very similar things he does all the time. Look for that left hook, fast ass hands. His defense is not 100% great. So yeah, I agree with you. I think Manny Pacquiao would actually beat Ryan Garcia.
But I like Ryan Garcia, but I'm not giving him a win over Manny Pacquiao, even if Pacquiao was 97 years old.
No, I agree. And also, I think Ryan Garcia would have a problem with that speed because he's used to being so much faster than everybody else. I'm torn on this fight. I'm not going to lie. I'm very, very torn on this fight. On one hand, I think Mario should be able to beat him after we saw with Rolly Romero and what we saw with Tank. Ryan Garcia is a counterpuncher. Only thing I think that helps Ryan in this fight is Mario's a slow starter. So where a couple of his other fights, they really weren't slow starting. Do you see what I'm saying? So Rolly.
Is there Ryan known as a slow starter too?
That's 100%. 100%. So that's why I'm saying with like Rolly came out ready to fight. He's not a slow starter. Tank was as a pressure fighter, that's a counterpuncher. So even though Tank may be a slow fighter, he still puts pressure on him. Mario kind of isn't as aggressive in the first couple rounds. And because of that, that may allow Ryan to get his legs under him. And if it allows Ryan to get his legs under him and get his timing under him, then he might be in fucking trouble. Kind of like Devin Haney. Devin Haney's not an aggressive boxer. He likes to fill you out. So I think that might present a challenge for Mario, because both of them being slow starters, I think a lot of that is due to timing. Second thing that tears me up is there's only a couple times that I've seen Ryan. Let's see, this is the fourth main fight that I've seen him. And there's 2 of them that seem very similar, right? So Tank and the Rolly fight, the personality seems so much similar, right? Tank, he was all about drama. My camp doesn't like me. Can we be friends? He was very, very unconfident, unsure of himself, trying, and it might have been because it was his first main event, but he was not the same as he was with Devin Haney or Oscar Duarte. Nowhere near the same. Way more amped up. Way more. He had way more fun. And then you look at the Rolly camp. not the same. And he's admitted I was checked out mentally. So right now, the way he's acting makes me believe that, and all the antics that he showed, very similar to Devin Haney. People are like, oh, he's training in his living room. But then you see how shredded this dude is. And you're like, nah, he's fucking training. Because he wasn't that shredded for any of his other fights.
He's training, but I also think he's in his head because his old trainer is with Barrios.
So, yes, Goosen is with Barrios. But I don't think that matters.
I think it matters more to Ryan than people think.
I think Ryan's trying to make it seem like it matters. That's because Ryan, even when Joe was up on the stage, he was like, and Ryan's like, you broke my heart, Joe. You broke my heart. You broke my heart. And Joe's like, what are we talking about? How did I break your heart? And he's so fucking confused. But Ryan doesn't even let him know. And then when they talked about it, like I've watched all the lead up to this, when he talks about it with Mario, and he's like, do you think that it gives you an advantage or Ryan an advantage? And Mario's like, I don't really think it gives anybody an advantage. Joe says the same thing. Joe's like, no, because I've trained fighters that I've beaten that haven't fought. But Ryan's like, oh no, it gives me a great advantage because I understand what he does in training. So like Ryan's not looking at it from a fight standpoint of he's going to show him what I do. And everybody knows what I fucking do. I do a left hook. But I think he's looking at it from a training aspect. So in this scenario, Ryan, I think, is actually putting in way more effort because he knows in his mind what Joe Goosen trains like. Because even in the last sit down, he said, I know about it. I know the speed bag routine. I know this and this and this. I know how many miles you're running. So I think he's trying to use that to get into Joe's head to try to change up the training camp right before the fight. I think that's a great manipulative tactic. But then again, Ryan is crazy, so I could be wrong. Because I've been wrong about a lot of these fucking fights, dude. But I think Ryan said they're going to go to war. Mario said they're going to go to war.
We'll see.
So I think it's going to be a good fight. I think it's going to be a really good fight. But I also thought Teofimo Lopez and Shakur Stevenson was going to be a good fight, and it sucked. It was horrible. All right, next talk we're going to get into. We're going to get into retirees right now. We're going to get into retirees. Ronda Rousey versus Gina Carano. On Netflix. First MMA show that they are going to host. It's going to be live on Netflix. Ronda Rousey has not been seen in a ring since Amanda Nunes whooped her ass.
She's going to get her ass beat again.
It's been so long since Ronda Rousey has fought in an MMA fight that Amanda Nunes became the GOAT. She wasn't the GOAT when they fought. She became the GOAT. Retired, and it's coming out of retirement. So, what are your thoughts about this?
She should have stayed gone. She's going to come back, get embarrassed. She's going to cry in the ring after she loses. It's going to be an embarrassment for the sport. Like, I don't know why. I don't know what it is lately. All these old people are coming back to sports. Like, they have something left in the tank. And, like, for what? Like, if you're hurting that bad for money, go start a business.
I think that's really what this one is.
Go bake a cake and sell pastries. Eric can show you how to make apple pastries.
So I think this is really what this is. Carano hasn't fought since 2009. Ronda Rousey hasn't fought since 2016. Granted, she did her WWE run. and they're fighting on Jake Paul's promotions.
And she tried to come back to UFC, and Dana White told her no.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. The problem this is the only thing that I think is going to be good about this is she's actually fighting somebody that I don't know who's going to win, but she's actually fighting somebody that hasn't fought in years. So, like, if she was fighting somebody that was like retired 5 years ago, oh, she'd probably get her ass whooped. Because women's MMA has gotten so much better since the last time either one of these two were fighting. Do you see what I'm saying? So that's the only thing I give credit to. And if you remember, I think Gina Carano was supposed to do maybe it wasn't her. I think she was, maybe no, it was somebody else. Never mind. Let me just stop talking. So yeah, they don't know who's going to be on it.
Carano's only loss was to Chris Cyborg.
Yeah, in 2009, in the first round. Yeah, it's not a good look. I don't know. I mean, you know what? Let them do what they want to do. There's so many.
This is even worse now that I'm looking at it.
I think I'm gonna be honest. I think this is worse than exhibition boxing. I know in boxing you can get hurt, but there's a lot of things that you can do in boxing to soften the blow. Bigger gloves. There's a lot of things. Lower rounds. But in UFC, a head kick is a head kick.
This just makes Jake Paul's promotion look even more incompetent. Because you've got the only MMA fight you could put together was old ass Ronda Rousey and a lady who hasn't fought since 2009.
Yeah.
And her last fight was against a dude.
Remember, they were trying to get Ronda Rousey. Chris Cyborg is not a dude.
You say whatever you want.
They were trying to get Ronda Rousey to fight Katie Taylor. That came up. That's how all of this started.
Like, this has to be the dumbest shit I've ever seen.
Yeah, so yeah, it's bad, but you know what? I'll watch it if it's on Netflix. It's free for me because I pay for it.
So and I mean, don't get me. Carano would remain inactive and was not scheduled for any upcoming events. She is still under contract with the UFC through her old Strikeforce contract and has 4 fights remaining on that contract. Fucking how?
Dude,
her last fight was August of 2009. How the fuck are you still under contract and still have 4 fights left?
Because UFC.
But that was Strikeforce.
But they bought Strikeforce. And when they bought Strikeforce, they took on her contract. And she retired.
It's 17 years. You still have a contract and still have 4 fights left.
That's why UFC gets sued consistently over their contracts.
And how, if that's the case, how is UFC allowing her to fight under fucking Jake Paul's promotion?
They probably don't care. They're not going to enforce that contract. They know it's a bad PR move, and Dana White cares about boxing now. Speaking of that, did you hear about the new Dana White signing to Zuffa Boxing? Connor Benn.
I didn't hear about it.
Connor Benn, who last fought Chris Eubanks Jr., just left Eddie Hearn of Matchroom and signed with Zuffa. Eddie Hearn literally said, I was distraught. It's my fault. I should have had him sign a contract. But if you don't remember, if nobody remembers, Connor Benn was banned from boxing for like 2 years for drugs. And Eddie Hearn went to bat for this dude. He's 100% saying it's my fault. I thought the loyalty I had shown to him, I'd never be put in this position. I should have had him sign a contract earlier. And when he got the email, he tried to text him and say, "Hey, can we have a conversation?" And he said no. But yeah, Conor Benn is now signed with Zuffa White with Zuffa's Boxing. So we are about to have a war of promoters. Dana White's going to try to go after everybody like Vince McMahon in WWE with the territories. You got Oscar yelling that it's a failed science experiment 2 days before he signs fucking Conor Benn. Like, Conor Benn is not the biggest name for casual boxing fans, but inside of boxing, Conor Benn, him and Chris Eubank Jr.'s fight was amazing. He's like 24-1. So I know I talked all that shit about Zuffa boxing, but look, you get 1 or 2 more people, fuck around and get a Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia has like 2 more fights with De La Hoya, then he's a free agent. Fuck around and get them a Ryan Garcia. I'm just saying, if Dana White is paying big, but it would be so bad if Dana White is paying the boxers more than the MMA fighters. Which you know he is.
I mean,
hold on, Kansas. All right. Exhibition fight, Floyd versus Tyson. What do you think?
I mean, whoever loses is going to the nursing home, so.
Jeremy?
That's the stipulation in the contract.
That is like me fighting. I don't know. But that's like me fighting a big ass fucking dude. Like, I know Floyd's great.
They're both broke.
Yeah, I get it. But you went from fighting YouTubers to Tyson. You know what the problem is? Tyson's last fight against Jake Paul.
It's like, my question is what's the clause in this contract?
You think Tyson's going to lose?
I think Floyd put a clause in his contract.
I think it's going to be very similar to. We'll have to find out as the fight gets closer. I think it's going to be very similar to Roy Jones Jr. and Tyson.
I think there's absolutely a clause in his contract.
So it's going to happen April 25th in the Congo.
In the Congo?
Yeah, in the Democratic Republic of the Congo.
Can Tyson make that flight?
So reports suggest it's an 8-round match with 2-minute rounds and likely 14 to 16 ounce gloves. They're trying to echo the rumble in the jungle. Muhammad Ali and George Foreman. Okay. All right. I don't know what to say about this fight. I just laughed when I saw it come up. I said, yeah, I'll watch it. I'm going to watch all the lead up for it. But it's not going to be real. It's going to be worse than the Jake Paul fight. All right, last thing we're going to get into. Tyreek Hill has been released. We all knew this was going to happen after he fucked up his whole entire leg. But where do you think he lands? Where do you think he should land?
I have no idea. God only fucking knows.
We know where he's probably going to land. He's probably going to land in KC.
I mean, y'all could go ahead and sign it. I don't think he's going to play.
Oh, well, he might not play this year.
He still needs another surgery.
Yeah. So he's probably not playing this year. But
okay. So, like, I mean, I don't know.
I don't think he's done.
I mean, he can't be done. His fucking baby mama took him to the fucking cleaners.
Yeah. I think it's gonna
That bitch
depend.
said, "Yeah, we can get divorced, but bitch, I'm keeping everything and you paying for it."
Yeah, that is true. She did fucking.
Like,
Yeah.
go ahead, go gallivanting with all your fucking women, but you still gonna pay all my bills, bitch.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that that they will have to do is he's gonna have to, if he decides to come back, it's gonna be for little money, and he's gonna have to prove it. But that's why I think the Chiefs makes the most sense.
I mean, if anybody signs him this season without a guarantee that he's going to be able to play this season,
Yeah.
they're stupid.
Well, yeah, that is. Ooh, yeah. That's just wasting money in a roster spot. Well, I
Like,
mean, if you put him on the injury report, it's not roster spot, but it's still just wasting money.
there's no point in signing him this season unless you have a guarantee that he's going to play.
Yeah.
And right now, there's no guarantee because he let it slip that he still needs another surgery.
Yep.
When him and his fucking agent said that he should be ready by the beginning of the season, but then he went on a live and let it slip that he still needs another surgery.
Yeah, and I saw exactly kind of the surgery that they were talking about. They basically, and they're like, this is normal. It's actually very normal. Where what ends up happening is they had to wait for the other surgery to go to work to see how bad this surgery was. And it all just depends on how bad this surgery is. There is a chance that he could still be ready by week 4 or 6, based off of the doctor.
Yeah, and there's a chance that I could fucking become a millionaire next week.
That is very true,
but there's not a guarantee,
and it's highly unlikely.
I mean, so
that is very, very true. Yeah, so I just wanted to see your thoughts. Your thoughts are very similar to the same of mine. He's not going to land somewhere this year. If he does, it's probably not going to be till the middle of the season. But
until there's a better picture of where the recovery is, then it doesn't make any sense to sign it.
Nope, I agree with you.
I'm not going to waste salary and a roster spot until I know what's going on.
Nope, that's perfect. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, because again, we'll see what happens. But I wouldn't mind having him. But would you mind having him in the Raiders if he's never going to be Cheetah again?
No,
but for a pretty fast route runner, still have some speed. He still has great route running ability. For like $5 million a year.
I mean, I wouldn't mind having him.
Yeah.
Question is would he go to the Raiders?
No, that's true. That's true. Depends on who. Well, for Mendoza, he might.
I know he wouldn't come for Geno Smith.
Fuck no. Who would?
I wouldn't go for Geno Smith.
Exactly. I'm with you on that. All right. Anything else you want to talk about? Let's see. Oh, Hill would likely sign as a Merc for a playoff team. Yep. Makes sense.
Oh, the Bears. Did you hear about the Bears?
I don't even want. This is the dumbest shit in the world. This is so fucking stupid. Okay. This is the dumbest shit I have seen. Okay. First of all, let's just break this shit down. Okay. What the fuck makes you think the state of Indiana can support 2 professional football teams?
I mean, they've been trying to work with Chicago for 5 years.
I don't give. They're doing the same thing Kansas is doing to Missouri. They're doing the exact, like, how the fuck, Midwest. You guys are fucking connected, okay? Illinois and Missouri, you're connected through St. Louis. I don't know if a lot of people know that, but St. Louis, Missouri, and St. Louis, Chicago, you could drive right across the straight fucking line. You saw this shit happen in Kansas City. You saw this. You saw the Chiefs say, we want a new stadium, and them go, no. And the state right next to them said, bitch, we're passing all these laws and got you. So what happens? Oh, the state of Illinois is like, they're the Bears. They played here 100 years, just like the Chiefs. They're not leaving. We're not going to do this. And then fucking some little ass fucking town that's 25 minutes away from fucking goes, bitch, hold my beer. And did exactly the same shit Kansas did. Like the same fucking shit. We just watched this happen. What the fuck is wrong with y'all rednecks? I don't even fucking understand. And then I've heard rumors that it's coming to Gary, Indiana. Wait, what, bitch? Gary, Indiana? Look, I know motherfuckers that live in Chicago and live in Indiana, and they don't go to Gary, Indiana. Okay? They don't. The only people that know anything about Gary, Indiana is fucking Michael Jackson. That's it.
I know about Gary, Indiana.
Yeah, but a lot of people don't know about Gary, Indiana. So, no, Gary, Indiana can't support a fucking NFL. Wait, y'all trying to gentrify the fucking hood. That's what y'all trying to do in Gary, Indiana. I see what they try. No, that's Fremont Street all over again. They gonna bring in a big ass fucking stadium. Then you're gonna see a whole bunch of fucking white people walking their goddamn dogs and drinking their fucking Starbucks coffee and all this other shit. Nope, I see what they doing. That might putting it there might actually one or two things is gonna happen. It's gonna increase the violence or it's gonna get rid of the violence.
It'll raise property value.
Yeah, and then it'll put a whole bunch of motherfuckers on the street.
Hey, it's time to sell the properties.
Very similar to fucking to Fremont. So I don't know. I'm to be honest. And then are you gonna change your name? Or now this is the thing that would trip out to me, right? The only thing that I think that I would be worried about is, are you gonna piss off Chicago people? Because I can tell you, we've seen a city in California move from San Diego, 2 hours away to LA, and pissed off their whole fan base?
I mean, their whole fan base was 3 people.
So
that wasn't hard to do. The Bears actually have a fan base, unlike the other team you speak of.
Jackson County in Chicago or Indiana? So I don't know how well they would piss off any Chicago fans. Would they get mad? You would still have them travel, but that's what you got to think of. Yes, it's only 25 minutes away.
Like this is how smart Bears fans are. Somebody on X said, if they moved to Indiana, would they still pay Chicago taxes? And then they said, well, if they played 8 to 9 games in Indiana, would they still pay taxes in Chicago? Like,
I know who you're talking.
I don't know what your education system is, but I can tell you the education system in Nevada is we rank 48. And they're not even that stupid over here to ask that question.
The Raiders are not still paying taxes in California.
So I don't know how you're that dumb to ask that question.
Well, they got 4 years to figure it out.
So pissing off. I don't think they're smart enough to get that pissed off.
Yeah.
1. And 2, like they've got to drive 30 minutes to get to the game.
Yeah, that's not bad.
And where they're going to put the stadium, I think parking would be better anyway.
So, and it's also going to be, there's multiple teams that play in other cities.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think ultimately, I think it'd be better for the Bears. And I think, honestly, I don't think the name wouldn't necessarily change. It just wouldn't be the Chicago Bears. It would just,
I guarantee you it'd still stay the Chicago Bears.
I think they would just drop Chicago and it'd just be the Bears.
I guarantee you it'd still stay the Chicago Bears.
They already talked about it, and they said it would. The name change is being looked at, but it'll likely just be the Bears.
If they become just the Bears,
they'd be smarter than becoming the Indiana Bears.
the maybe listen. For all of these city sakes, okay, they better not just become the Bears. I think that would be fucking amazing. But could you see going forward teams just completely dropping the city from their name? And then nobody knows where the fuck they play at. We would because we're sport fans. Oh, boy, buddy. Just Raiders.
I mean, the Raiders have been in 3 cities, so
Yeah, but I'm just saying.
Raiders don't even know where the Raiders play.
Yeah, Dallas Cowboys play in Arlington, still San Francisco and Santa Clara. The Giants and the Jets play in Jersey. Yeah. Yeah, there's tons of teams that do that all over the place. I understand. That's why I think they would keep the name Chicago.
I think Chicago will sue them so they can't keep Chicago.
I don't get it. Midwest, do better. All of y'all motherfuckers. Okay? How the fuck does Indiana keep stealing teams? They took a team in the middle of the night.
But then I didn't tell you the best part of that question.
What?
Somebody else commented and said, well, technically their address of record would still be Hallis Hall, so taxes would still be paid in Chicago. And then I logged off.
Yeah, I can understand.
I said I can't take any more for today. I gotta go.
I can understand. I've done that multiple times. Yeah, but that's crazy. I saw that shit and was just like, please don't make it true. Please don't make it true. Like, don't get me wrong. I get the idea. I'm just one of those people that I like. The Bears should always be in fucking Chicago. Like, I know they can move anywhere, but you're the team, the city. Treat them fucking right. Stop treating them like shit. They got the oldest fucking stadium in the world. Why not build them a new fucking stadium? Like, I understand why teams are moving, but I'm so pissed with these fucking cities. And you know what? It's not like before where you needed a major city. They're going to move to a city nobody heard of outside of Indiana and Chicago until 2 days ago.
But I do think owners need to start putting more money towards
stadiums.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I think there could be a middle. But at the same time, if you're playing in the stadium from fucking 1908, yeah, owners should definitely not be raising taxes to pay for stadiums. They need to do a lot more better. But owners are going to be owners. But you're right. They do need to do a lot better. They need to put in more of their money. But guess what? It doesn't matter. They don't have to. Do you know why? Because some fucking state from across the border is going to come up and swoop them the fuck in.
Like, even if Chicago would have been like, okay, we'll build you a new stadium, but here's what we need from you.
Yeah.
I need you to go around to all the high schools in Chicago, and I need you to redo all their football fields. I need you to redo all their bleachers.
Be a partnership.
Redo all their concession stands. This is what I need from you.
That's actually smart. But the problem that you have is you'd have Indiana next door going, bitch, you can come here for free.
Well, at least there would have been we'll build you a new stadium, but we want you to help take care of our youth in the city that you've been here for 120 years.
I like that idea because all of the NFL and all the sports leagues go, they care, but I don't ever see this shit.
Well, the Raiders do.
I know the Raiders go out to schools and stuff like that.
The Raiders have replaced a bunch of fields.
Yeah, but the public doesn't really know that without looking into it.
They announce it. You know Mark Davis wants his fucking kudos. He needs his kudos for his bowl cuts.
Yeah, so they've directly helped with over 40 high schools.
Yeah.
And at least 12 schools with CPR equipment, whole bunch of stuff. The team pledged $500,000 to eliminate school debt across Nevada, $250,000 for a new turf at Rancho High School.
They replaced the field across the school across from me.
Motherfuckers, why'd y'all have to do Rancho? Do every other fucking school. Okay? Fuck that. Don't touch red chip. That bitch just had a new field. Should have. Y'all just. All right. Anything else you want to talk about before we get off?
No, I'm good.
All right. Go ahead and take us out whenever you're ready.
Put me in, coach.
Peace.